Beginning to clear out the MG42 in the building, firing away with his 37mm gun, and one grenadier goes down, another goes down. This MG42 will have to get out of there. And we see the sniper being slain with a shot from the T-17 and the MG42 as well. A second loss to the Americans. This is absolutely horrific. Rather poor unit preservation, and my goodness, Mr. Mengfianlao has gone straight for a Panzer command. That would certainly explain things. And certainly that is a lot of resources to be expending on that. Perhaps he thought with those BARs he had time, but at the same time the American did have a lot of territory, and of course he kept suffering so heavily, which certainly gave the American quite the advantage. So I'd certainly say this is perhaps a misstep, but of course if used properly he could turn the tide, he could knock out this T-17 and everything else and use it to its own advantage, but it really depends. And we are seeing further pioneers of heavily wounded grenadier team being sent out. This is possibly madness, and let's go have a look at him. No stormtroopers ready. Grenadiers not being reinforced, instead going straight for the Ostwind. And I'm having a bad feeling about this. Ostwind usually means, if it's the first unit in particular in a rush, that he seems to think that, oh right, I'll just get something that says anti-infantry and then absolutely devastate the opponent. Apparently not realizing that an Ostwind is indeed a much more of a support weapon than an actual tank. And while it can certainly be devastating, it can also certainly be most easily knocked out. In particular, if your opponent gets something that can actually deal with armor, or itself a Sherman. A Panzer IV I think would have been much better. Would also have been able to deal with this T-17 much more swiftly and from a longer range. But there we go, Ostwind. 37mm anti-aircraft tank. And now these grenadiers and grenadiers are really looking in a bad spot. Will need to retreat. This is absolutely not combat worthy troops. Not ready at all. They really need reinforcements, and oh no, these grenadiers might be slaughtered. Get them out of there, Mr. Ming. Get them out of there. Oh no, these grenadiers also need to get out of there. Will they survive? Ostwind joining in. Anti-aircraft cannon blasting away. Actually not hitting anyone, and now he's getting up close. Oh dear, what are you doing? Sticky bomb going off, as should have been expected. You really don't rush in your tanks, you use them at a distance. You don't rush them up to infantry who are known to have sticky bombs, and of course use them to incapacitate the armor. This is absolute poor armor tactics, and my dear viewers, do promise me you won't actually do something like that. It's certainly not good armor tactics at all. You want to keep your armor at a range, unless of course they do somehow buff the MGs on them, in which case you still want to be careful, but you can't do it a bit more often. Still, those MGs are not really functional, they are more for show, in which case keep them at a distance. If you want to rush in something, get a Stug or a Geschützwagen or a Stug 42, their MGs actually do something. And there we go, stunned by the T-17. The T-17 not able to do much though. But an anti-tank cannon could possibly resolve this. Ostwind firing away, and now riflemen moving in from all sides, ready to deliver more sticky bomb death on it. Ostwind saying the fatherland spits back at them, but rather I don't feel that's the case at the moment. Another sticky bomb and another damaged engine already on this Ostwind. Desperately trying to get out of there, and we do see a Panzer IV, certainly a much better choice, but question is, will these questionable armor tactics be employed still, or will he actually use them a bit better? And the Ostwind trying to desperately hold back these riflemen, but they are able to deliver a sticky bomb and get out of there most swiftly. And the engine is completely destroyed. The Panzer IV joining in. The 116th Panzer Division is really looking in a poor state. Certainly one of the more inexperienced commanders in its roster of commanders. And we see engineers laying down mines, plenty of mines in fact being laid down to protect their flanks, quite nicely done. Grenadiers charging ahead, but going to run straight into flamethrowers and an MG42. Panzer IV moving in. Oh dear, it's going to crash right into the mine. Engine damaged. Anti-tank gun setting up. Grenadiers flanking over the MP40s. And riflemen will be moving in with sticky bombs. With Infantry 2 they do gain extra range on them. And now the T-17 is joining in as well. The Panzer IV has suffered heavy damage. Engine damaged. Down to all less than half health. Panzer IV is going off. Will the T-17 be knocked out? Apparently not. Now the Panzer IV is stunned. And we'll probably see another sticky bomb going off. This is absolutely horrible. This is Certainly not the way that a Panzer should be used. Now riflemen are moving in with further, and Volksgrenadier team is lost. The ones actually meant to protect it are lost in a rather reckless maneuver. And the engine is destroyed. Another sticky bomb going off. This will surely be the end of the brave Panzer crew. And there we go. Veterancy 2 for this rifleman team. And I do believe they didn't actually have any before that. So quite nice for them, but not nice for the Panzer IV crew, which were so wastefully thrown away. Plenty of pioneers, but no infantry to actually support all of this armor. Now the Ostwind is charging ahead. The pioneers trying to repair it, but they're going to be easy targets. Further sticky bombs going off on the Ostwind. One pioneer team is lost. Ostwind is immobilized, and now it looks like it might be wrecked in seconds. Another sticky bomb, and it is gone. One thing to be noted, there used to be on 5% buck, which meant that a tank could actually suffer a lot more damage than one actually supposed to, but that has been fixed now. The well and the infantry protecting it has been blasted away, and now we see riflemen sneaking in. Another Ostwind. Oh dear, Mr. Meng, what are you doing? You are making me most depressed. Pioneers being cut down by these most daring riflemen, and certainly Koupa is doing a much better job at actually handling all of this than Mr. Meng is actually at creating any nasty situation for the Americans. And we see some hiding here with the MG42, and we see a tank depot going up. Second Ostwind joining in, ready to provide some additional firepower, but so far there's not much for it to actually do. And I suppose some armor would actually have been a much more help, in particular since there's now a tank depot and a single Sherman, and everything will go very wrong for the Wehrmacht forces, since Ostwinds were not made at all to counter Shermans, to fight them at all. So I am having a bad feeling about this. Ostwind moving in to stop these riflemen for harassing the eastern fuel point, and there again he rushes it in. Again, I'm not entirely sure why he does that. That could easily have backfired for him, resulting in another damaged engine, meaning it would have been a lone target which could have been singled out. And we see this anti-tank gun not being taken again. That does seem a bit confusing to me. That would certainly have been helpful. And we probably will see a Sherman very soon. Yes, there we go. M4 Sherman ready to join the fight and certainly beat the snot out of these Ostwinds. MG42 cleared out by the Ostwind, and the Ostwind beginning to knock out this medic station. As you may have remembered from a previous talk, there's something to do about placing your medic station, medic bunkers and whatnot. You usually want them perhaps a bit more less accessible. For example, here was perhaps not the best spot, perhaps here, or slightly perhaps up here, instead of right in front of the enemy where he can just knock it off without actually having to get too far into the hornet's nest. MG42 team now being sent in, not infantry. And pioneers being quite easily wiped out by a mine. I'm surprised he hasn't actually gone for a minesweeper or not. And oh goodness gracious, another mine goes off, damaging the engine of the Ostwind. This is certainly not looking good, and oh my goodness, what is he doing? He's trying to seize a point with the MG42 team. Oh no. And now this Ostwind is engaging right here. This can certainly not be the elite of the 116th. This must surely be some inexperienced commander. Ostwind, Sherman moving in, knocking out this MG42 team, which is certainly in a very nasty situation. Ostwind blasting away, not having much luck with that. And finally getting a pioneer with minesweeper and then stopping it right in front of the Sherman. That's certainly a bad idea. We'll have to see what Mr. Meng's counter move will be, but it's certainly not looking good. The Sherman moving ahead to rather handily blow away this Ostwind. The Ostwind actually able to knock out this mine, but for no greater effect. Not really hitting any of these riflemen though. The Sherman on the other hand quite easily hitting the Ostwind and penetrating, leaving the Ostwind with only a sliver of health. And this Ostwind getting repaired after getting sticky bombed for I don't know what time. And Ostwind going out of control. Sherman getting the 50 caliber machine gun. And the Ostwind going up in flames, ejecting the crew to all sides and smoldering on the battlefield. right near that tractor. And we see something coming out of this Panzer command. I suppose a good guess would be a Panther, since that would rather be the usual prediction for someone who spams Ostwinds and rushes for them. In that sort of thing that, alright, well, I need to get the heaviest thing in either side instead of actually going for perhaps a slightly more tactical strategic view and getting something that can actually deal with both things, and then having the more specialist armor for support or something like that. And now, of course, throwing in a Panther, of course, for completely forgetting that they won't do so much against all of the other infantry. So we're certainly not dealing with Rommel here. Ostwind charging ahead once more unsupported and once more right into enemy territory. Not sure what to expect. And
Okay, done building.
Panther still on the way. Ostwind crashing through a tree, through the remains of the well. Now firing away at these riflemen, and the riflemen retreating, one going down though. And the Americans have seized pretty much most of the map, except this rather tenuous hold on the western half. And there we go, the Panther, Panzerkampfwagen 5, joining up to support the Ostwind, or not, apparently deciding to go somewhere else, leaving the Ostwind to fend for itself as tanks, Rangers and riflemen begin to easily knock it out. This is rather poor tactics once more. And there we go, veterancy 2 for the Sherman, giving it increased penetration. And the Panther is right there to fire a shot right into the rear. And now it's being hunted down by these Rangers and riflemen. It seems like no support for the Panther at all. In fact, the only unit left is the Panther right now. This is certainly the end for the 116th. And bazooka shots going off. One Ranger going down. The Panther is still somewhat able, but really perhaps not the best weapon against infantry. In particular with these great masses. And taking fire from the Sherman. The Sherman, though, certainly going to be the worst one off. And we see Blitzkrieg going off, giving increased rate of fire and increased speed. Looks like this Sherman might go up in flames. Sticky bombs, though, going off. Main gun destroyed. Bazooka rounds probably going to hit that rear. Yes, indeed. And now we see another Ostwind. Oh, God. Screams of pain from the Rangers as they are being torn apart by the Ostwind. Riflemen, though, not having any of that and charging ahead right at the Panther. And probably going to drop off a sticky bomb. Same on this Ostwind, though. Again, moving them much too close to the infantry. Sticky bomb going off on this Ostwind. Riflemen pulling back, though not able to drop one on the Panther. Not getting that anti-tank gun either, though. That could have been helpful. And again, still no infantry. We do see a pioneer team that will probably try to desperately repair this Panther, which is certainly not looking in a good condition. Certainly. And we see a fresh Sherman coming out. This might be the final nail in the coffin for the 116th Panzer Division. The attack certainly has floundered, and I'm pretty sure there's not much you can actually do to actually salvage this situation and pull the remaining forces out in one piece. But we'll have to see. He might still be capable, I suppose, of a counterstroke, but considering his performance so far, I doubt it. It's been much too haphazard and much too focused on one-line punches.